Vendors at the Serekunda market reacted to a viral video alleging the use of insecticide sniper spray on sale smoke feast. ECOWAS leaders failed to agree on whether to lift or impose new sanctions against Mali and others during Saturday's meeting in Accra. And fuel prices have suddenly dropped in Tanzania thanks to the government-paid subsidies. Well, this and more coming ahead on The World Today. Hello, this is Eyeafrica TV and you are watching the World Today News Bulletin. Many thanks for joining us. I am Amadou Kante and now the news in detail. Now, following the release of a video that alleged some smoke fish vendors are applying insecticides sniper spray on their stocks. Now, vendors at the Serekunda market have called on the government of the Gambia to ban smoke fish vendors from using the hazardous insecticides sniper to preserve food commodities. Now, the video that alleged the vendors went viral on social media, particularly on WhatsApp, cautioning consumers to be vigilant when buying the smoke fish. Mafuji Sise visited the market and he now tells us more in this report.
Yahya is a smoke fish seller at the busiest Serekunda market. She confirmed that some of the vendors are using the hazardous sniper.
Wow, degala.
Yes, it is true. If you see, we are talking about it's happening. Some of the vendors are using it to preserve their fish, but I am not doing it. I only smoke the amount that I can sell for a day, and if it's not finished, I usually put it in a big freezer till the next day. I also put an ice block on it so that the insect to have access to it. Maybe those using sniper do not know how to go about preserving or driving away insects. The government should intervene to stop the use of snipers on food products. Why would someone occupy something on food that can kill insects?
Modu Konde is a vendor at the Serekunda market who witnessed sellers using sniper on their products.
I
used to see some of the vendors spring snipers on their products, but anytime we ask why they are using such poison on their products, they will say it's for prevention and treatment. But little do we know that they are using sniper for different purposes. How can someone be that heartless to put poison on food? We are calling on the government to intervene. Ibrahim Sise is a consumer. He said the government should ban smoking of fish since the sellers are using it to kill the people.
Yes, it's true the word.
I have seen people that are eating raw smoked fish, whilst many continue to apply it in their food, most commonly domoda and mahal. So if the sellers use poison on such materials, it's worrisome. Remember, health is one of the most expensive throughout the world, and anything that will bring down the level of one's health need to be an immediate stop. Most of the fish vendors refuse to speak on camera. The National Environment Agency, together with the Ministry of Health, have issued a statement banning the importation and use of sniper insecticide in the country. The statement was issued in a press release on February 26, 2019. The NEA said the ban is effective on the importation, use, and distribution of the said insecticide pending further notice. The release further stated that licensed and business persons and entities in possession of the products should surrender the banned product to the agency's headquarters on Jimpex Road in Kanifing or at their regional offices throughout the country or the nearest public health office for safe storage. That the unlicensed applicators engage in the use of this product and other banned pesticides or chemicals are warned against the importation, use, and distribution of the banned product, risks facing the full force of the law. For Eyeafrica News, I am Mafuji Sise.
We hope the authorities will do something to address this situation. But moving on, the leaders of the West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS over the weekend met in Accra, Ghana to deliberate on the political situation in Mali, Guinea and Burkina Faso, but failed to agree on a decision on whether to lift or place new sanctions against the three countries. They have, however, expressed concern over the insecurity in Mali and the deteriorating living conditions of the citizens. The ECOWAS leaders are expecting to meet in July to further review the political situation of the three West African states. Here's more details of that in this report.
ECOWAS leaders met in Accra, Ghana to discuss the political situations in Mali, Burkina Faso and Guinea. It was yet another meeting without an agreement to either lift or impose further sanctions.
The authority asked the mediator to finalize the negotiation, the discussion with the Malian authorities that will allow the gradual removal of the sanction, the economic and financial sanction that were imposed. On the timetable of the election, the authority indicated that we need to pursue discussion to find a solution on an acceptable timetable.
While ECOWAS has upheld the economic sanctions against Mali, the leaders say they are concerned about the insecurity and rising poverty in the West African country.
The summit noted that despite the effort of the Malian military security forces, which have made a lot of action to gain some ground, the security situation is still very challenging. So the summit call on all the international partners to increase the support to Mali in terms of humanitarian support particularly.
The ECOWAS leaders have agreed to meet again in Accra in July to review the political situation in Mali, Burkina Faso and Guinea. They hope by then the three West African countries would have presented their transition plans to hold elections to return to civilian rule.
That report there is coming from the Ghanaian capital, Accra, where the ECOWAS leaders were meeting over the weekend. Now, moving on, Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta speaking to the nations on the 59th Madaraka Day, bellowed that the next administration should maintain Kenya's path for economic growth, that is, regime fashion. Now, the Madaraka Day commemorates Kenya's liberty struggle in the replacement of an outgoing colonial government with an indigenous government. In Kenya's 59 years of self-rule, this is the first time that the national celebration was held at the hallowed grounds of Uhuru Grounds Garden. Moses Emendi tells us more of that in this report.
Kenya is poised to hold elections later this year to elect their next president after Uhuru Kenyatta, who is serving his last term in the presidential office. The election will present Kenyans with a big choice to make, as change often comes with unforeseeable uncertainties. The country made significant political and economic reforms that have contributed to sustained economic growth, social development, and political stability gains over the past decade. It is currently the 7th largest economy in Africa, having previously sat at 12th. President Uhuru Kenyatta, during his address to the nation on the 59th Madaraka Day, took the chance to remind the nation that such tremendous economic success must be built upon and maintained by the next government going forward.
So, fellow Kenyans, my message to the nation today is that whereas we are claiming progress, we do not claim perfection. Yes, we have made commendable progress on the social-economic front, but we cannot claim to have reached the pinnacle of our nation's potential.
He cautioned that the next leaders should be hell-bent on upholding the corrupt cleanup agenda, saying it will be impossible for the country to continue progressing if the administration is dominated by a cabal of looters. President Kenyatta urged Kenyans to be trustworthy stewards of freedom as he recognized national unity as the yardstick to achievement of sustainable development and shared prosperity for all Kenyans.
To achieve the shared aspirations of our people, successive administrations are called upon to foster national unity, and this is the single greatest enabler for sustainable development and shared prosperity for all. Our first collective national duty, therefore, in this forthcoming elections, general elections, on the 9th of August 2022, is to choose peace and stability over fear, hope over hate, and progress over retrogression.
He commented on that, saying, "It is a catalyst and rapid enabler of development under a visionary administration," explaining that his administration used borrowed money to close their infrastructure gap and to connect their markets. He therefore advised the successive government not to shy away from using borrowed money, because in a corrupt-free government, it is an enabler and not a burden. Mentions of his regime's compounding success and legacy in areas such as infrastructure, security, education, farming, investment, and many more were also the highlights of Mr. Kenyatta's marathon speech on Madaraka Day. Moses Mendy, Eyeafrica News.
Well, thank you, Moses. Elsewhere in the continent, environmentalists in Nigeria have expressed concern over the frequent use of fossil fuel in local communities, noting that the government should encourage the use of clean energy. Now, according to the United Nations, about 40 million Nigerians are using fossil fuel, such as charcoal, firewood, and other cheap means due to the high cost of gas. Now, while raising concern over the environmental challenges, activists also urge the authorities to support the vulnerable. Here's more details of that in this report.
Rabi Musa is preparing lunch for her family in the outskirts of Abuja. She uses firewood to cook because it's affordable and burns easily.
Cooking with firewood is fast, easier, and way cheaper for me. Gas is too expensive. I cannot afford it.
Many poor Nigerians living in rural communities like Rabi use firewood and charcoal because other cleaner cooking fuels like gas are costly. According to the UN, about 40 million Nigerians use charcoal and fuel wood. It is concerned about the dangerous fumes users inhale when using these fuels, as well as the decline in the quality of soil that is used for agricultural purposes, among other negative effects. The United Nations says close to 4 million people die prematurely every year from illnesses linked to household air pollution. This, it says, is caused by the use of stoves and solid fuels like charcoal and firewood for cooking. Environmentalists warn that cutting down of trees to make charcoal and fuelwood adversely affects people and the environment.
The fertility of the soil from which we grow food depends on other plants also, because they give back to the ground as much as they take. And if we continue like this, we are going to be eating too many chemical or processed food or GMOs. All right, and we already know the long-term effects of it. So our wellness, our ability to have quality air, our ability to have quality food, our ability to have, it's all going to be disturbed so long we fall trees. There are other alternatives for fuel.
The United Nations says if people don't act quickly, exposure to air pollution beyond safe guidelines will increase by 50% within the decade. Conservationists say Nigeria's government needs to protect the environment by providing cheaper alternatives to cooking fuels and policies that will discourage illegal tree felling.
If every state has a landmass where there is a replacement of trees, or these trees are cut in a way that you don't cut it like all the way down, you fall branches, or in those days, people just use broken branches for wood, firewood, right? So I think we need to work our way around it so that we don't lose the trees completely.
In March last year, Nigeria announced that gas will be a major energy source for electricity and for cooking between 2021 and 2030. And the government says it is working to make available about 10 million cylinders across the country at affordable prices to encourage more people to use gas for cooking. But for now, many Nigerians like Rabi argue that firewood remains the cheaper option.
Now, coming back home, Gambian tycoon Alhaji Tunkara's adhesive edifice located on the Bundun Highway has officially been opened for business following its inauguration on Saturday, June 4th. Now, the massive plaza has opened to 6 shops and 20 stores. Moses A. Mendy has the details in this report.
The Tunkara Plaza incurred 50 million Gambian dollars with its construction lasting close to a year. It is the latest infrastructural development structure in the Kanifing municipality. It has up to 65 shops and 20 stores and will serve as a revenue booster for the municipal council. Bile G. Tunkara, National Assembly representative of Kantora constituency and majority leader, is delighted that Mr. Haji Tunkara brought such development to the country and urged both the local government administration and the central government to offer adequate support.
So, as a matter of fact, someone who has love for his country, love for his nation, come down to his country to invest this mass edifice. We deem it fit as representative of his constituency to inform the municipality, to give him adequate support, to also reiterate the same information to the government, to give him maximum support and protection so that this investment wouldn't be in vain.
Honorable Tunkara said, Mr. Haji Tunkara's act is a demonstration of how Gambians can support the government in developing the nation, because development can be achieved through joint contribution of both government and the private sector. According to him, Gambians tend to shy away from infrastructural investment in the country owing to the negligence and rent payment reluctance by some tenants. Musa Drame, Minister of Fisheries, encouraged Gambians abroad to emulate Haji Tunkara and encouraged the managing committee of the plaza to be sensitive to the maintenance and sustenance of the edifice.
I encourage also the management of the facility to pay particular attention for the maintenance of the edifice, because construction is easy, but our problem mainly is maintenance. They should make sure that it is kept well, and the people who are residents here should accept that it belongs to them and they take it as personal property. So they don't see themselves just as tenants. They see that they are beneficiaries of the facility.
Al-Haji Bamodi Tunkara, Haji Tunkara's father, was proud and overjoyed. Speaking at the occasion, he said it is important for parents to always instill a sense of belongingness and responsibility in their children during upbringing. He encouraged Gambians abroad to follow the steps of Mr. Tunkara, saying, what is built on home soil is what belongs to them and not what is abroad. Hailed from Garawol in the Upper River region of the Gambia, Haji Tunkara has been contributing to various developments in his hometown, such as the construction of feeder roads and uplifting the standard of living of people. The Angola-based tycoon has also presented 250 motorcycles to his community. Moses Mendy, Eyeafrica News.
And from that inspiring report by Moses A. Mendy, we will now take a break and come back shortly. Stay with us, we'll be right back. This is the World Today News Bulletin on Eyeafrica TV, live from our studios in Banjul. And once again, many thanks for joining us. Now, through a World Bank-funded Gambia Inclusive Resilience Agriculture Value Chain Development Project, the government of the Gambia last Thursday handed over a consignment of high-quality certified seeds to the Department of Agriculture for onward delivery to farmers through regional agriculture directorates. Aissatou B.I. Kujabi has more details of that in this report.
This initiative is aimed at supporting the farmers to timely access to the certified seeds of improved for target value chains and thereby reduce the cost of purchase and reliability of seeds. Speaking at the ceremony, Director General of the National Seed Secretariat, Mr. Muro Manja, highlighted the importance of the seeds, saying it will enhance agricultural productivity and place the sector on a strong footing.
The national seed industry shall be driven by a comprehensive national seed system that comprises variety development, adaptation, release, seed production, seed quality control, and certification. An established and well-functioning national seed system will facilitate availability of seed of improved cultivars to crop producers in right time and condition. We are, however, of the opinion that the eventual attainment of comprehensive national seed system will place the agricultural sector in a strong position to be able to minimize the negative impact of climate change and the associated dangers of weather failure and other emergencies that may disrupt crop production, as has been experienced in the past. Hence, the need for partners in the development process of a sustainable seed system is highly imminent in the sharing of best practices for the management of and supply of good quality seeds, a key input in crop production. Once again, may I renew my thanks and appreciation to World Bank, CPC, and all key stakeholders for providing technical and financial support in launching this very important activities in our quest for building a sustainable seed system for the Gambia. Once again, and on that note, I wish all my esteemed farmers a very fruitful season.
Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Demba Sabli, described the provision of certified seeds as a timely intervention when the rainy season is just beginning. He also explained that his ministry has commenced its transformation agenda to modernize the agriculture sector.
The handing over ceremony of this much-needed agricultural input we are witnessing could not have come at a better time, when the ministry as a sector has commenced its transformation agenda of modernizing agriculture as enshrined in the extended national development plan and the sector policy, namely the second generation Gambia National Agriculture Investment Plan, Food and Nutrition Security, GNAP 11, the Gambia Agriculture Transformation Program, and the Agriculture and Natural Resource Policies. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this procurement and subsequent handing over of this input is not only relevant to today's global agriculture and rural development challenges, but I personally find it well attuned to my sector development challenge, where quality seed to maintain our genetic resource cannot be overemphasized. Good quality seed, as alluded to by our seed scientists from the National Seed Secretariat and other experts, is the beginning of the development of any agricultural value chain, without which the farmer will not only continue to experience low yield, but also loss in genetics.
So to the leaders of producer organizations, let me turn to you. You have a key role to play in engaging with the farmers for good use of these varieties of seeds, supporting the giraffe teams in their communications, outreach, and monitoring activities. I count on your citizens' engagement, commitment, and leadership for a successful implementation of this seed program, taking advantage of the positive projection of the rainy season this year. And Honorable Minister, of course, our objective is to strengthen the country's seed system with improved climate-smart seed varieties. So together with Giraffe, our hope and ambition are that by the end of the project, agriculture in the Gambia will transition from subsistence-based to a climate-resilient and market-oriented agriculture. And I'm counting on your leadership and close support of the project team to make the seed program and the whole program a successful and impactful operation. I'm very pleased to proceed with the launching of this seed program, and I wish the best success to the Ministry of Agriculture in its implementation. You can count on me and the World Bank team to support moving forward for fast and speedy implementation, which we believe will translate to a significant contribution in achieving resilient, inclusive, and sustainable food security, agricultural, and economic growth. Very best wishes to all for a good rainy season ahead and a productive agricultural campaign. Thank you.
The hand-in seeds include 50 metric tons of certified seeds of different varieties and 200 metric tons of certified rice seed to be delivered to the farming communities. This support could be a boost for farmers ahead of the farming season. For Eyeafrica News, ICTBI Kujabi.
Now, elsewhere, following the government announcement, subsidy fuel prices in Tanzania have sharply declined after a record high in May. Now, this positive development came thanks to the International Monetary Fund intervention after a meeting with the country's president. Now, welcoming the move, economists believe more actions are needed to avoid future shocks. Here's more details of that in this report.
Fuel consumers in Tanzania might soon experience relief as prices of petrol and diesel go down after hitting a historical high last month. This decline is a result of activating a $43 million subsidy that was announced by the government to manage spiraling oil prices that rose sharply as a result of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The subsidy has resulted in a drop of $0.13 for petrol and $0.14 for diesel. The minister in charge says more will be done. Tanzania requested a soft loan of $473,000 from the International Monetary Fund last month during President Samia Suluhu Hassan's talks with the managing director of the IMF. The government has allowed oil distributing companies in the country to sell fuel at a price that gives them a competitive advantage, but it warned that pricing should not exceed the price cap and should not be below the floor price for the relevant fuel product. Taxes and levies paid to various government departments and agencies amount to about 40% of the fuel price customers pay at fuel stations.
For us who use motorbikes or use small generators still feel the pinch. Even though prices have been lowered, we ask for it to go even lower.
Some people might say the reduction is too small, but that small amount becomes a lot if you buy a lot of liters. So it's a mindset thing. For me, I feel a relief.
The government could take more fiscal measures, which may be announced in the budget later this month. Economists suggest that more long-term planning is needed to avoid future shocks to the sector.
Use different alternative sources of energy. It may take time, but you have to start. And in this case also, there are certain commodities which we import. We should not import them because we've got the ability and the capacity to produce them.
The central bank reports show that Tanzania's oil import costs almost doubled to $2.17 billion in the 12 months to March compared to the prior year period.
Some positive news there from the Tanzanian's capital, Dar es Salaam. And finally, China on Sunday has launched the crew spaceship Shenzhou 14, sending 3 astronauts, including a female, to its space station combination for a 6-month mission. Now, this latest development left the operators in a celebratory mood as they successfully sent the 3rd crewed mission for China's space station project since 2021. Here's more details of that in this report.
This is the first manned spacecraft that China launched in 2022.
Now the rocket is lifting off 1,500 meters away from us, and you could feel the tremor getting stronger and stronger.
The Shenzhou 14 spacecraft is taking 3 taikonauts, including 1 female, to the China space station. During their 6 months in orbit, they will help complete the construction of the space station.
We have made overall arrangements for all the tasks in orbit. These are written in the mission manual and flight plan. The plans are detailed into every month, every week, and every day. Meanwhile, we also give the astronauts a large amount of free time.
The Shenzhou 14 is the third manned space mission launched from Jiuquan satellite since 2021. This is also a big day for the support team at the launch site.
I participated in 2 manned space missions last year, but this time I'll watch the launch for the first time. I feel very good. Go, China!
As the construction of China's space station moves into critical phase, the launch site will soon be preparing for another launch in 6 months.
Inspiring and breathtaking, of course, report there from China. And with that, we eventually bring this news edition to an end. But for more details on this and other stories, and as always, as ever, you can visit on our website on Eyeafrica.tv. But for now, many thanks for the pleasure of your company. Thanks for watching and do have a pleasant evening. Bye from us.